Hey guys, Brentman117, welcome back to the channel and part 1 of the ultimate Warthog build tutorial. That's right, you guys asked for it, so I created it. Now, I put a vote out for you guys to say whether you would prefer the build instructions for the ultimate Warthog or the Shadow of Intent. Now, the Warthog was the unanimous winner without a doubt. That said, the Shadow of Intent did get an awful lot of love as well. So what I'm going to do is create the full build tutorial for this Warthog, which will be in 2 separate videos due to the time it takes to actually put the videos together and how long the videos go on for. And if these videos are successful, then I may consider creating a similar set of videos to build the Shadow of Intent. Now, as I've mentioned previously in videos, there is no digital platform for creating instructions like there is in the Lego world. So the only way I can do this was to take the Warthog apart and then basically rebuild it whilst filming myself with 1,000 cuts and edits in between just to stop the video from being 2 hours long. So I've done my best to make it as clear as possible. I will narrate the video as we go through, giving you any tips, or if there's any tricky bits, I'll explain how to get through those sections. Now, all the parts that you'll require are scrolling through at the top of the screen right now, how many of each part you'll need and the colors and so on. So I would suggest you watch the video first. If you like the style of the build, then obviously you can go back, see what parts you've got, come back and watch the video at a later date to be able to build your own. Also, as I've mentioned in previous videos, it is incredibly time consuming creating this style of video, not to mention brain taxing, trying to take it apart and get it to go back together again with no instructions for myself. So I would be really grateful if you do enjoy this video. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying it, then consider hitting the subscribe button. And also, don't forget to leave some comments in the comment section below. Give me your feedback. What do you think of the way I've put these instructions together? What do you think of the set? What do you think of the build technique? So any feedback I'm always grateful for. If you get stuck on any bits or you've got some questions, leave those in the comment section too. And I'll be sure to try and get back to as many of you as I can. Okay, so if it wasn't already obvious, for the first part of the build tutorial, we will be building the front section of the Warthog, and it will require 203 pieces. That's just for the section you see in front of you at the moment. So if you are building your own, you've managed to collect the pieces, good luck with the build. If you're just watching for fun, I hope you enjoy the video. Now let's get building. So just remember guys, if I do make some mistakes through here, I got some parts wrong, there's not much I can do about it now, the video's been edited, so just leave it in the comment section below and I will try and make amendments in a comment pinned to the top of the video. Now these 1x2 blocks here with holes in them, you'll see I've got 3 black and 3 green. They were all supposed to be black, so if you've got black, I suggest you make yours with 6 black, it will just look better. It was just what I had at the time. Now these bars, I'll try and let you know where most of the pieces are from. Obviously the pieces so far are relatively generic, but those long sections with the 5 holes in are from the NMPD Warthog, and also these spring clips, which are quite important to the build, are also from the NMPD Warthog. Now I know some other Warthogs have had that style of spring in, but I don't think many of them did, and I'm not sure the other sets which did. So again, if you want to help out, leave some suggestions in the comments below. Now these reverse plates here that have got the studs on both sides, again I've used grey ones there, simply that's what was to hand. Ideally I would make them all black. This is the axle area underneath the hog, so ideally you want everything black. As you can see, I've used these tubes. These tube sections are from the Rhino set, and so are those little adapters that go in the end of them. These 2x1 plates, I think they're used in most sets, so you should be able to find those everywhere. Again, more Rhino bits here. Those sections there are designed to resemble the drive shafts going into the center of the wheels, and this part here is supposed to resemble a differential on the front of the axle. These parts should all be relatively straightforward. I don't know where every part comes from in regards to every set, so you're just going to have to dig deep, go through all your parts and see what you can find. In regards to the green pieces you see me using, all of the green pieces are either from the 20-in-1 Scorpion Pro Builder set or the Warthog Run set just recently released. Now this is probably the most weakest part of the mock when it comes to strength. I chose to do this because of what it looks like rather than durability. You got to remember, when Mega Construx are making sets, they have to pass the play test. This would not pass the play test. Another thing you want to keep an eye out here is all of those circular bits that go into the ends of those tubes. They're not all facing the same way. Do watch the video carefully because it does make a difference. If they're not facing the right way, this won't work properly. So try to match them the way that I've put them. You'll also notice there is a front and a back to this depending on where the diff is facing. You'll see that it will come more apparent later on in the build. Also, the only reason I've got different colours here is because, again, I didn't have enough black. By choice, I would have had all of these arms and all of the 1x1 round studs with the holes in the end. I would have had them all black. Also, these hooks that I'm touching now, those are only going in one side, and it's literally to hold this band. And the reason they do that is it stops these axle pieces from splaying out. Ideally, you'd have that on both sides, front and back, but I only had one of the rubber bands, so I could only do one. And also there's nowhere to hook it onto the diff on this side. But as you can see, when it's off the car, you really get a good idea of how this suspension works. So there, it works perfectly. By the time you've got the wheels on, you find with the weight of the Warthog, those upper arms tend to drift outwards. All this part of the build is relatively straightforward. The bull bars that I've used for this was actually from a Flame Hog set, but you could use them from any Warthog that you've got. All of the front slope sections are from the Warthog Run set, apart from the two without the paint application on them. They're actually from the Scorpion 20-in-1 build. The dials are from both the Warthog Run set and the Forge Hog set. So the windscreen frame, that's from the Warthog Run 2. All these pieces are from the Scorpion set. Any random black pieces, they're just from wherever. I've just got huge amounts of black pieces, which I just dive into for these kind of builds. But I'm sure you guys have probably got similar. So this part going on at the moment, that 1x2 block with a hole in it, it doesn't actually need a hole in it. Not sure why I use that, but you can just use a normal 1x2 block there. So if that is in the instructions, you can just ignore that and just replace it with anything that you can find. Now, some of this part of the build is quite fiddly. You might have to watch it a couple of times. It doesn't really come together holding itself very well until you've actually finished putting it together, which could be said about most of the build. It does actually end up being quite structurally sound, but until you've got it all connected together, it can be a little bit fragile. And like I said, guys, this hasn't passed the play test. This is a mock, so it's all about what it looks like rather than how sturdy it is. But once the complete set is finished, you will be surprised how solid it feels. So you need to make sure you get these little 1x1 plates in the right place here, because it will make a difference. And you need to put that tube on before you put that special piece on that holds the tube, otherwise you won't get it on. Those little dots need to go in the corner and can be quite fiddly to get on. And then this bit's all relatively straightforward. If you don't have any red ones of these, then you can just use any colour for here. I just think it really stands out on the mock if you can use the red ones. If you're wondering where they came from, they come from the 20-in-1 Scorpion set as well. And that's the only time I think I've seen them. They may come in other sets, but I'm not aware of what other sets they would be coming in. These pieces here are absolutely brilliant. Whoever came up with these pieces needs a pay rise, because they're so good for doing anything with. So if you don't have any of those pieces, they come in the newer sets, but they certainly make building more fun. You can do so much more with those pieces. And don't forget guys, if you do have any questions on the build, now's the time to ask. I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can, and although I've tried to make the build process as clear as possible, it may not come across as clear as I hoped it would. If any of you are wondering why I haven't given the full parts list for the entire mock, it's simply because I haven't created it yet. I've made this video and wanted to release it to you straight away. Whilst you're watching this, I will then start creating the video for the second part of the build, which will be the rest of the mock basically. So it may be a slightly longer build, because I'm sure you can appreciate if there's just shy of 200 pieces just to build this section of the front, I'm anticipating maybe 300 pieces for the rest of the mock. So I'm suspecting maybe somewhere around 500, 550 for the total mock. So you will get the remainder of the pieces you need for the back end of the vehicle with the next video, which I'm hoping to get to you within the next week or so. I'll do my best to get it out to you sooner rather than later, so you can see the completed instructions. You also get a good view of the inside of the cockpit there, which you don't get from the video you would have seen previously of the mock. So it's good to know how it goes. You get some better angles of it as well. If you don't know where the large blue display comes from, I believe that came from the aerial ambush set. So confession time, that piece there for the headlight section of the mock, didn't realise till I took it apart, it's actually a Lego piece. It just obviously come with an eBay haul at some point. Just chucked it in with all my black stuff, used it, and it wasn't until I took it apart to do this that I saw it actually had Lego on it. So yeah, I'm not sure that Mega Bloks actually do a piece like that, so you may have to raid the Lego store for that one. So when you finish that section, you can literally just push the axle straight underneath there. It should go on nice and easy. Make sure you push that axle down on the center where that diff section is, because otherwise you're just going to make it fall apart and you'll be starting from scratch again. So we're almost there now. What we're doing is creating the tow hitch and everything that I came up with for the front of it. Now this bit can be a little bit tricky. These bits here just pop into the bottom of the front underneath the bonnet area, and it's just when you go to clip it in, it's got to be at just the right angle, otherwise it all kind of wants to break apart. But if you get the angle right, you push pressure in the right place, it will just click in and then it's done. It's not going to come off. reason I left it till last to put this windshield piece on is because you're going to be pushing down on the top a lot while you build this, and if you put the screen on too early, you're going to risk cracking it when you're trying to press this model together. So I would leave it until last, and then you just put that little louver on just to finish off the front end there, as is characteristic on all Warthogs. And then the only thing left to do after that is to pop the wheels on and take it for a little road test. And there you have it, except it doesn't drive very well with two wheels. So that just about covers it for part one of the build tutorial for the Ultimate Warthog. Do let me know how you got on in the comment section below and what you thought of the video. I'm off to start making part two now, and I'll get that out to you absolutely as soon as I can. So as always, until then, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.